So I would like to welcome up Sean and Adrian Snyder, our sweetheart dancers, to come. I believe they're showing a film and they're also going to be talking. So without further ado, Sean and Adrian, thank you.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Hi. Thank you again for hosting Bates and all the contributors that put this together, especially the Artist Mini Grant. A little bit about me. My name is Adrian Stevens. I'm Northern Ute, Shoshone Bannock, and San Carlos Apache. I grew up in northeastern Utah on my mom's reservation, the Uinta and Ouray Northern Ute Reservation. Growing up there in rural northeastern Utah, I didn't have a lot of representation. So, like a lot of words have been spoken tonight about keeping us in survival mode and keeping us current and being thankful at the same time. And those all resonate with me growing up in a rural community and not having representation that I could look to every day and say, I want to be like that Two-Spirit person, or I want to be like that queer artist, and be able to accomplish these amazing things, whatever their medium may be. So thank you, Bates, for hosting this and putting this together, and again, all the contributors that supported this grant.
Hello, everybody. How are you all doing? My name is Sean Snyder. I am non-binary and Two-Spirit. My pronouns are they, them. I am Navajo, and I am a Southern Ute descendant. My family both comes from Southern Utah, and for me, myself, I grew up kind of all over the place, being this little powwow kid that was just brought into, surrounded by culture every day. And so I'm really grateful for Bates Two-Spirit organization to give back to these artists and artists like us who live within our culture and practice these things all the time. For us, this workshop or this grant was able to provide us the space to keep working on projects just for ourselves, which is very rare that we get to do those types of things. We're beadwork artists by trade. For me, I've been beading for the past 15, 16 years. The better part of my life, honestly, since I was a teenager. For me as a craftsperson, this art has been transferred from my auntie, from my grandma, all the way down. They were all dancers and brought into, powwow life and powwow culture. And so that's what I grew up really doing, really connected to not only my own culture as an individual, but to seeing so many representations of Native culture across, the Turtle Island. And to see that growing up was really impactful because I was that little queer kid growing up in my own family of a lot of siblings and a lot of cousins by extension. But art was my getaway, and I am probably one of the few craftspeople within my family that really commits their time to creating and producing for their own family or just for other people. So it really holds me near and dear that Bates respected me as an artist to grant me this kind of funding, as well as these other amazing artists here tonight.
Yeah, thank you. And I just want to elaborate a little bit more on what Sean and I do. We refer to ourselves as multimedia artists, but I always like to pay homage to, I grew up as a powwow dancer. I grew up dancing Northern traditional as a little boy, and always had that desire to try a different style, whether it was grass dance, whether it was fancy dance. And I really found my home at the age of 12 in grass dance. And so I've been dancing grass since I was 12 years old. And at that young age, I knew I was a Two-Spirit individual. I knew I was different, and I just didn't quite know my place and where I fit in. And growing up traditionally and in that traditional environment with my great aunts and my grandmothers, they had such a big influence on me. And so I was that impatient kid that didn't like to wait for a new grass dance outfit and for everybody to have an input on it. So I was that craftsman that already paid attention to everything. And they always say, if you want to learn something, you got to sit down and you got to pay attention. It's not even listening or talking, it's just looking and absorbing and seeing the actions and the routine. So I was that kid that was always told not to touch something, but I went and did it myself. And so that's how I learned how to sew. And so since 14, 15 years old, I've been creating my own regalia and sewing. So everything that you see and have seen us previously wear has all been sewn by me, with, of course, Sean's design element. Thank you. But I just want to talk a little bit about representation and how my elders in my community acknowledge that and how they fostered that within me. It started with one of my grandmother's sisters who had passed, and during her funeral, we've heard it here tonight, where that's for men, that's for women, that's a woman's role, that's a man's role. I grew up in such a fluid tribe, the Northern Ute tribe, that it wasn't even spoken, which was really impactful. It was the actions that were taken. So when it came time for preparing for burial and we went to go dress my great aunt, it was her sisters that were surrounding, and we have this moment where we wrap the body after they're fully dressed. And all of this is women's jobs. And when my family really came to let me know that we know who you are without saying it in so many words, was when I'm carrying all the blankets and it came down to, no, you're coming back here with us. You're coming back here into the room to help prepare. And that was a humbling moment for me, to feel finally recognized. You know, at 15, without having to say, I'm an out loud, I'm out proud person, because I was still navigating that, but even to just say I'm out, you know. And so I'm really thankful for those community members that foster that and that look after these young ones, because I was that young one. And one of our big motivators in some of the work that we do is create that representation that you didn't have when you were younger. What did you need to see? What did you need to feel to have that inspiration? So that's just a little bit about me growing up in northeastern Utah. But in the last 10 years, Sean and I being together, we've been very fortunate to champion and break a lot of these glass ceilings for our younger generation. And that's the way I look at it, is every campaign, every time we've spoken, every time we've danced together or created beadwork, it comes from a place of representation, because I want to see another queer couple do it. And I want them to do it 10 times better than we've done it. And knowing so much more and feeling that much more secure about how their identity fits within their culture. So I just want to share some of those things that have been imparted onto me, because this grant, like Sean said, it's helped us to repel some of our own personal projects, because us as ambassadors, us as cultural bearers, we want to share it, but also we want to wear it sometimes. And so that's why I'm thankful that Bates put on this beading workshop these last 2 months for us to come in and help facilitate and share that knowledge and share that joy that you get out of creating something. I'll let Sean talk a little bit more about our outfits.
I'm so grateful to Bates as well, bringing us in to be head dancers these past 2 years at the powwow. It's been such a great experience to be amongst you all and community in this Bay Area. So exciting. For both of us, we just longtime dancers, so coming into this, we decided to do the Sweethearts competition, probably a good 7-8 years ago together. And upon first trial, we were really faced with a lot of backlash. People told us it wasn't for us. We got called out by the MCs publicly. Things happened thereafter with just the one individual powwow. But we had danced for years together, out in the arena, out in that circle. And only coming to Southern California, 1 year, we were faced with such hardships that year. And it really put us on notice that, not everywhere sees this kind of equality happen, and not everywhere sees this kind of partnerships be able to take on the arena like that. So we're really grateful to have that space and to come out and be respected as dancers these past couple of years, and to showcase our own personal, family values through our dancing, but also to show our love and everything that we do and just our sweetheart dancing. And thank you all for making us representatives for our own Two-Spirit community. Like, we really do appreciate all of that love. I think we're gonna watch a video in just a little bit, but it's of us in 2022, just a year and a half ago at the San Manuel powwow, yeah. And so we danced at the Sweetheart competition there, and that was probably our fourth or fifth time competing. And this year, in this video, you'll see we placed fourth this past year, which was really exciting for us. We've competed and placed consistently in the top 10, which is really awesome to feel that like that and to be represented that way.
I think just to add to the contest, the Sweethearts contest, when that all took place, this was back in 2017. And since then, we've had a documentary. Some of you may be familiar with Sweetheart Dancers. It is streaming on Showtime and also the Department of Educational Resources. So it is available for K-12 programming and higher education purposes. But with that documentary, we really were able to champion some change that I didn't know we were creating. And it's kind of like that ripple effect we talk about. You know, you never know what the impact that you're going to have until years down the road, time down the road. And I'm thankful to say that we have been able to maintain that rule change within Indian country, within powwow culture, because when we go to powwows across the country now that are so heteronormative and into that commentary, everybody's on notice. Everybody's a little hyper aware of those homophobic comments or those trending homophobic comments. And so I'm thankful that we have been able to occupy a space that makes the community, our Native community, aware and aware of those uncomfortable comments and those long-lasting impacts those negative impacts or negative comments can have on our youth. And so I'm thankful that when we enter a space that people are a little bit more aware of how they conduct themselves. But yes, we're just so thankful. I know there's a lot to share, like Sean said, us dancing, and we're thankful to come back, and we look forward to coming back each and every time, whether it be for a workshop, powwow, the artist showcase. It just makes me feel good to be in a room with a lot of talented folks and all championing change within our communities and making them positive impacts. So thank you very much. actually have one additional comment before we jump into this. So Sean had mentioned that we have taken Sweetheart Dancing to different powwows across the country, but this is actually the very first time we've been able to do Sweetheart Dances here in the Bay Area. So we're excited that this is our first time to actually dance this here for you guys all tonight.